morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday video. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg. Today I have a fun card. I received a card from my upline and this was my inspiration, so I'm going to share that with you today, and we'll talk about the Stampin' Up! News. Okay, let's go down to my desk. Right. Sorry, see if I can get you down to my desk with too much squeaking here. Today I'm trying to use this camera mount a little bit differently. All right, you can see on my desk I have the flyer from Stampin' Up! For the month of June, all suites and products that are contained within a suite, so a bundle or the ribbon or the paper, are buy one, get the second one 50% off. So the 50% off does come off the lower priced item, but the suite sale is on from June 3rd to the 30th. So that's a great one. I've put in 2 orders already, so I'm stocking up. All right, so that's Stampin' Up! News. If you don't have a catalog and you would like one, and you don't have a demonstrator already, I would be glad to get you an annual catalog. That's the cover of it there. Just have to contact me either via email, mrgorn@shaw.ca, or my website is margaretgorn.stampinup.net. All right, today this card, I am calling it a diamond front Z fold. And like I said, I was given this card and I thought it was really, really beautiful. So I have adapted it, and we're using a lot of the last chance items. That's another thing. You really need to check the last chance list. There's some great buys on there, and they added to it last week. So a lot of what we're using today is from there. All right, let's get started. I'm using a thick basic white card base, 4 1/4 by 11. It's scored at 5 1/2 and 2 1/4, and it will fold like your regular card, like that. And then this folds back, but we're going to do something to this flap, so we're going to do some cutting to that. All right, you also need a piece of cardstock, a 3-inch square, and today I'm using Lemon Lime Twist, and I am using a last chance item, the cane embossing folder, and I brought them all the last chance items in so you could see them. That's the cane embossing folder, and you can see what it looks like when it's embossed. And it was $13.75. It's now marked down to $8.25, so that's a good buy on that one. And let's see, our DSP. Today I'm using the Bright and Beautiful, which is on the last chance list. And it was initially $17. It's 6 by 6, and it's down to $8.50. And you'll remember it. I'm sure it has all the bright papers in it. Okay, so that's another item. So that we need a 3 by 4 piece, and I'm using this piece with the Lemon Lime Twist circles on it, and a 2 1/2 by 4 piece. So those pieces of designer series paper. We also need some kind of circle is what I'm using. So I'm using the Spotlight on Nature die. So I used, this is the second from the largest in this grouping. Remember, there's two sets of circles with this. So I'm using the second largest one. And I also used the Stylish Shapes circles, and I'm using the second largest Stylish Shape circle. So I used this, and I put them together on my machine and cut them out like that. And I used the brushed gold foil, so that's what I ended up with. And the brushed gold and silver foil is in the clearance. It was $13.75 for 6 sheets. You get 3 silver, 3 gold, and it is now $6.87. So that's another item I used to cut my frame. All right, then I cut the largest Stylish Shape circle in white, but I trimmed it down a little bit. You'll see it just is sort of the inside of this. So what you can do is you cut it out, you can lay this back on it and draw a circle and then just trim it off because it has to fit. You want it to fit behind here. Sorry, I've done my stamping already. You want it to fit behind here but not show through your little holes. So that's the easiest way that I found to do it, unless you have a circle that's about, I think it's 2 3/4. And we don't have a punch that size, but it just has to fit so that this frame will fit on top of it. So it's going to go like this. So as you can see, I've already stamped mine. And I used the Unbounded Love stamp set, which is carried over. And I used the words "just for you." And I also used from the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, which is, we still have, this is an online exclusive. Well, both of these are. Both of these are the Unbounded Love and Spotlight on Nature, both online. I used the little splotch die here, or stamp, and I stamped the splotches in Lemon Lime Twist, but I stamped the words in Granny Apple Green. So you can see I've got those two colors sitting up on the top of my screen there. Okay, so those are my colors for today. All right, I also am using the Unbounded Love dies, and I used these leaves. There's 2 different leaves, and I cut them out of Granny Apple Green and out of Lemon Lime Twist. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use, or I might use them all. So I just have those to embellish with. And I brought out this Petal Pink and White 1/4 inch diagonal trim combo pack ribbon. It was online. It is in the clearance rack right now. So it was $13.75. It's down to $9.62, and you get the 2 colors, Petal Pink and White. And it's nice ribbon to tie. So I tied a bow ahead. I'm not sure I'm going to use it, but we've got it here. So that's a lot of last chance items I'm using today. All right, so let's get started with this, and I'll show you how it works. I am going to move all of this out of the way because I need my paper trimmer. Now, like I said, I've already scored 2 1/4, 5 1/2. I folded it like a regular card. This is going to turn back, so I've burnished it already. I've marked on here halfway, so this is 4 1/4. So you need it at 2 1/8. So I've already put a little mark there. You can see it. And we're going to cut just this flap. So from the fold to that mark, from the fold to that mark to make it a point. Okay, so you just need to put it into your trimmer. And whoops, you have to line up that mark that I made and just after your fold line. So that looks pretty good. Sorry if I got my head in there. I'm just going to move this a little bit this way, and we're going to cut it like that. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to put that into the trimmer, and you're just after your fold line there, and cut. So now we have a point right there, and it's going to fold back like that. All right, so that's all we need our paper trimmer for. I'll move it to the side. Okay, and we can start assembling this card. So I've got my Tombow liquid glue. I will glue on the paper that I'm going to use. So this piece was the 3x4. It's going in here. And so it's just glued down. And looking at your borders, trying to center it a little bit, top, bottom, and the side, like that. Okay. I was going to say I have an eraser here. I will erase that little pencil mark that I put on there because you might see it if somebody turns it over. Okay. Then this smaller piece of designer series paper, the 2.5x4, is going here. And I kind of like this little detail on it, the little white there. Almost, you could, I could have embossed this piece too. That would have been nice. And again, I'm just putting it down, looking at my edges, Trying to make it straight, Marg. Not doing a very good job here today. There we go. Now I've got glue sticking out there, which I will get with my glue eraser. All right, so that's all there is to that. And being that this is thick, basic white, I'm going to not add an extra piece of white here because it's nice and sturdy, so I can either stamp here or just do my writing there. I am not stamping in the inside of this card. Now, to do this diagonal, we take that piece of embossed cardstock and we're going to just lay it onto here. Now, what I found is when I laid it on here, I wanted this top point and the bottom point to be in the right spot. So I had to tip this a little bit like that. And what I noticed is this is not quite right. So you can either glue it that way and trim that white off, or you can line it up this way so you don't see the white, but it's not quite right here. So I didn't like that. So I like to line up these 2 points and then I will trim off my white, I think. So you're going to put glue here just on this triangle, and you're going to glue your piece down. Now, you do it your way. I am doing it that I've got the point here and the point there, and I'm going to trim off that excess white. Just, I like to the look of this better when the card is closed. So when the card is closed, that point and that point are perfect. So I like the look of that. So I'll just let that set for a second, and then I will just trim off that excess white, which isn't difficult to do. You can just open your card up and trim it off. I see I've got some glue maybe on my scissors, which isn't unusual. All right. So there's that. And then I just go this way and trim it off. There. All right. So that's all there is to that. That was fairly simple just to even it out. Okay. And then literally all we're going to do is, I did my stamping first, as you saw. I'm going to center this circle the way I want it to look. So I'm just going to move this so I can get a better sense of this card like that. So I want that. So I'm going to glue this circle right down. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my frame and lay my frame on top. I find that's the easiest way to do it, as opposed to trying to put this onto here first. So I'm just going to glue this down, centered on my diagonal square here, or diamond. I guess it would be considered a diamond. And I'm trying to make it the word straight. That looks good, just like that. And then I'm going to lay this on here. Okay, and then we'll decide about our leaves and our bow. So for this, I'm going to just put it on my silicone mat, and I will just put a little bit of glue, and I'm just going on the inner edge here. So close to the inner opening, because of course you've got all these holes and you don't want them to show, or you don't want glue, sorry, to be sticking through there. So just a little bit of glue just around that inner edge, and then I'm just going to lay it down, and it shouldn't be a problem. There we go. And of course, whoops, got glue on the back of my card. On the back it shows here, but that's okay. You know, you can see it there, but that's all right. So that looks good, just like that. And then I think we will put our leaves on. And I was thinking of doing maybe the 2 leaves like this, or the 2 leaves like this, and putting the bow at the bottom. And then I'm thinking I don't really like the bow on there. I think it sort of detracts from our work. So I think I might just put these leaves on here, and they could have been tucked like right, I could have tucked them under the frame, but I might just tuck them like that. I think that looks good. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, again, liquid glue, just a dot. You could use a sponge dauber to do this, but there's some bigger spots that you can put glue. You don't need a lot, and it doesn't have to be completely stuck down. Yeah, I think I will put this one here, just like that. Give it a second. And then I'm just going to put this one like that. So same, and I did cut the single leaves, you can see them here, but I think maybe I'll put them on the inside of this card, because we have a few spots that we could do that. All right. Go. I could have cut these with adhesive sheets on the back too. That would have worked. And then it makes that really simple to stick them down, but I think that looks okay. So there we have that. And then on the inside, I thought I could put a couple of leaves here. Now they won't show there. I could put 2 leaves there. I could have put some leaves up here. You know, I could have done that up in the corner. Maybe just one there. What do you think? I did also bring in the Dragonfly and bird embellishments, and I thought I might put a dragonfly on here. I haven't used those for a long time. So let's do that first, and then I'll decide about the inside. And I think just one is all we need. And I thought I might just put it in kind of this empty spot right there. And that kind of picks up the gold that's on our frame there. I think that looks nice. Sorry, I bent his tail up there. All right, so I don't know what you think. Does that look too bare? If I put that on there, does that look good? I think I might do that just for added interest, and I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green one as opposed to the Lemon Lime Twist, because the paper's Lemon Lime Twist. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue where there's kind of bigger spots there. Turn it over, and I think I'll just do that right there. So I think that looks really good. Very simple card, but very effective. I think it stands like that. So the Z fold, but with the diamond front on it. So I think that's really nice. Very simple, very quick, and effective. And here we used quite a few items from the last chance list. Let's see what we've got. We've got the paper, we've got the gold, and I didn't use the ribbon after all, and I used the embossing folder. And again, the embossing folder doesn't really show too much, but it does show enough. It just gives it interest, and also on the back gives it interest. So there we go. There's our card. I will share with you the inspiration card I got and a different card that I made. This was my inspiration card. Isn't that beautiful? And goes like that. Gorgeous card. You can see she used, this is the You Are Remarkable stamp set, and she, I don't know if you can see, it's 2-step stamping, but the daisy, I'm calling this a daisy, she embossed it in silver, and then she filled it in with, I don't know, basic gray and smoky slate maybe. And there's the words. Just a gorgeous card. So that was my inspiration. And then I did make another one to try it out myself. So this was using retired product. And I didn't put anything on the inside of this one either, but there's that one. And I think that turned out really nice too. So different frame on this one. That's retired die. But both of these frames came from our Spotlight on Nature dies. That's a different one. I call that one the dots and the dashes. And then this one with the flowers cut out. So there's 3 different cards, 3 different looks. This one has words on the outside. This one has words on the inside. This one has no words on it yet at all. Okay, so lots of ideas for you. I hope you enjoyed that. All of the measurements for this card will be underneath the video. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And I appreciate your thumbs up, and any comments that you send, I try to answer them. So I hope everybody has a great week.